Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is April the 10th, 2025, and the world is still spinning. We're still here. Regardless of what the liberals were trying to say, the economy is going to collapse. Everything's going to crumble. Didn't even happen. Didn't even happen at all. We're here, and I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Please, please, please hit the thumbs up for me. I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up for me. All right, let's just get right into it. The Democrats, they're on the side of China. They're on the side of every nation that is against America. And now, one of the latest things is that because of what President Trump did with these tariffs, they're actually saying that President Trump was doing insider trading. They were saying that President Trump was doing the insider trading and he was making deals to where these other countries, they're going to send money to Mar-a-Lago. Have you heard of that, Shannon? They say they're going to send money to Mar-a-Lago.
The lady said that they're going to buy memberships.
They're going to buy memberships at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And they're going to send money because, you know, this President Trump did insider trading. Isn't it interesting how all of a sudden the Democrats are concerned about insider trading? Have they talked to Nancy Pelosi? Have they talked to her in a while? Talking about insider trading? Oh, well, maybe because Nancy Pelosi does it, being a Democrat, it's okay. But President Trump didn't do insider trading. President Trump was telling everybody what he was doing. And did China get played? I think this is all. The entire time, President Trump was playing 4D chess. President Trump did what he did to draw these people out, to show the people, to show their true colors. And after he did what he did, of course, China thought that they were going to be able to fight Trump, and they're still trying to somewhat. Are the tariffs against China still at 125? Still floating at 125? So apparently, someone made a phone call somewhere. Trump is not backing down. Trump is a lot stronger than China. I'm telling you right now. I think everyone knows this. I think everybody knows this. Well, of course, you got the Democrats coming out complaining about President Trump. And mainly one of the main ringleaders is Shucky Ducky Schumer. Chuck Schumer, he's on here basically complaining about President Trump. And if you just really listen to it, he's talking about himself. The entire time in this little small clip, he's talking about himself. And what surprised me is that she actually calls him out on it. Now, this is an extremely short clip. I wish we had his comeback just to see what he was going to say. But she actually calls him out on it. Listen.
So the American people, Trump sold them a bill of goods when he was running. They're very quickly getting wise to him.
You see this? Trump sold them a bill of goods. They're quickly getting wise to him. Well, actually, the American people got wise to the Democrat Party. But listen to this. Now watch her reaction.
We're seeing that in how the American people are reacting to Trump. I think a lot of them are feeling that Trump is betraying them.
On the tariff issue, you've been in the Senate for more than a quarter century. And in that time, yes, Congress...
You've been in the Senate for more than a quarter of a century. I mean, he's been there all that time. And that's all that's to this clip. All that time. Maybe she got away from the conversation. I don't know. I don't know why they cut it off. I wish I could see the rest of it. But all this time, Chuck Schumer's been there. They've done nothing. They've done nothing but allow China and other nations to take advantage of the American people for all of these years. All of these years. I'm so thrilled in what President Trump is doing. And I don't care that they're saying, oh, my goodness, did you know that he's going to do this? Did you know he's going to bring it down to 10% across the board? Oh, excuse me. I still got a slight cough. I'm a lot better than I was the past 2 days or the past 3 days. I'm a lot better. I'm about 95%. I still got that lingering cough. That's what I said, 95%. But I feel good. It's just a cough. So I have some hot tea here to try to help with that. But anyways, enough about me. I want to share another one with you. And this one is with Senator Kennedy. And I like Senator Kennedy. And I'm surprised that these woke liberals had him come on Morning Joe. I'm surprised they did, because they know how Senator Kennedy is. He doesn't hold back. He tells the truth the way it is, and they're not in the business of telling the truth. But one thing I've noticed here lately is that at least Morning Joe, they've really been trying to tone down their anti-American, anti-Trump rhetoric. Have you noticed that, Shannon? And I think that's part of the reason why they probably have Kennedy on with them, because they're really trying, they're having a hard time doing it. Wasn't Joe Scarborough at one point considered himself a Republican? I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he considered himself a Republican at one point. Just like him and Michael Steele. They left the Republican Party a long time ago, him and Michael Steele. Michael Steele, the black bald guy that's on there quite often, he was the RNC chairman at one point. I mean, wow. And they completely went off the deep end. I guess because President Trump is bringing the Republican Party back to its original roots. That's the reason why they don't like the Republican Party now. But anyways, listen to Kennedy as they're on here and they're talking about China, talking about these tariffs and what's happening.
Some of the smartest minds across the world are betting on a recession. What are you saying to your business leaders when they're calling you about where this goes next?
Hold on. Let me stop it really quick. I have to interject on this one really quick. He says some of the smartest minds are betting on a recession. All of the Democrats were betting on it. All the Democrats want it to happen. All of the Democrats want the economy to collapse. All of the Democrats, and actually they wanted this to happen when Joe Biden was in office. But they more so want it to happen now so they can turn around and blame President Trump. And like they were still blaming President Trump for the price of eggs, and they completely forgot the whole idea that Joe Biden, his administration, up under him, millions of chickens went bye-bye. Democrats don't know where eggs come from. Maybe that's the problem. But anyways, it was the Democrats that want the economy to collapse, not President Trump.
Well, this is what I'm telling them. With tariffs, an eye for an eye just leaves both people blind. When a government imposes a tariff, it's putting its thumb on the scale. It interferes with people's freedom to exchange goods and services. Some countries, China, the best example, have used trade barriers as a weapon to hurt the American economy. You said it. God created the world. Everything else is made in China. President Trump decided to try to change this. And he, as we know, has imposed dramatically higher American tariffs on these countries. But then, at least for me, an extraordinary thing happened. We have 195 countries in the world. Probably 40% have come forward, and instead of bowing up and fighting, they've said, we want to lower our tariffs. Will you lower yours? I frankly never saw that coming. I think it is a wonderful opportunity. Now, I don't want to feign understanding. I do not know what the president is going to do next. There's an internal debate and going on inside and outside the White House. I can just tell you what I would do, Joe. I would pounce on this opportunity like a ninja. And I would use this as an opportunity to reduce, or in some cases, Taiwan, Vietnam, European Union, go to zero reciprocal tariffs. And then we can have free trade, let the best product at the best price win. But I don't want to mislead you. I don't know what the president's going to do next. I know what I hope he does.
Yeah. You know, Senator, on national news shows.
So most of the time, they would interrupt. They they allow him to go on and say everything that we've been watching. I mean, I'm really enjoying what President Trump is doing. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, President Trump is doing what no other president, like I've mentioned multiple times already, President Trump is doing what no other president has done. Please, if you would, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me on Rumble and on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up for me. And pill.net, thank you so much. Hit that red pill. And on Facebook, please share the video. And the same thing on which one is it? On X. Thank you so much. Please share the video. Okay, so we got a comment from, who's that? Michelle. So my producer, she's going to put different comments up here. It's kind of small for me to read it, but if it's really important, as it's pertaining to what we're talking about, she'll put the comment up there. I like those comments. Now, I wish I could do these with Rumble and pill.net, and it was one other one, and even X, but I can do these with Facebook and YouTube. So I greatly appreciate you commenting, leaving me some comments. Really awesome. Okay, let me share another one with you. This one I thought was really good because on CNN, of course, they're all talking, about the tariffs, and they're talking about what President Trump is doing. And this one, though, is about this anonymous writer, right? Because they're making up stories about President Trump. They're lying about President Trump. And they don't even go into complete detail about this, but it's just the argument that they're having. They bring up information, and the young man there on the other side, he starts talking about what President Trump needs to do. Just need to concentrate on the economy, concentrate on XYZ, and they don't want to hear it. So they get an extremely heated debate. I want to call it a debate, but it's a really extremely heated conversation. I thought it was worth playing. Watch.
Politically, my advice to the president on this one would be continue to focus on strengthening the economy. You got to figure out a way to bring down cost. Keep doing what you're doing as it pertains to immigration. We need to increase chip manufacturing within the United States. There are several political things that I think
that
he needs to do.
All right, hold on. Okay.
So
all right, Chair Michael, I get it. Yes, he should focus on the economy.
Yeah, he should.
But what do you think about the fact that he's targeting his political enemies, using executive orders and telling his Justice Department?
But we are focused on it, Chair Michael, and you just said, but Chair Michael,
can I answer?
Well, you haven't answered, but you have not answered.
I did answer. I just didn't answer the way you wanted me to answer. You don't get to dictate my comments to my response on this show.
Your comments are not directed to the issue.
Yes, they were, because my response was the focus should be.
Hang on a second.
About this not being in a third
Tiffany, 1 second.
Go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead.
I mean, listen, Chair Michael.
Again, every time it's either Scott Jennings or Chair Michael, every single time they're bringing up valid points, their objective is to shut him down. Every single time, especially her. She doesn't want either one of them to say valid points. They don't like to hear it. And then he gave the answer that he wanted to give, but it's not the answer that the liberals didn't want. So when the liberals don't get the answer that they're looking for, then they want to shut it down. Nope, that's not the answer we're looking for.
You're a friend of the show. You're my friend. Please answer the question.
I answer the question the way I want.
No,
nobody's going to dictate the way I answer questions on this show. You may not like the way.
It's always a liberal trying to tell you how to answer something, how to think a certain way, how to be a certain way, how to look a certain way. It's always liberals trying to tell people how to think.
I answered the question, but I gave an answer. No, I don't like that. We're not going to do dictating reply the way I want you to reply. Then just don't ask me a question if you don't like my response. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Sure, Michael, you don't get to.
Do we not live in a democracy now? I mean, we talked a lot about a democracy tonight.
You don't get to just change the subject to avoid having to say something that might be perceived as negative about Donald Trump.
You just didn't like my answer to your question.
Well, that's what it seems like. If you were a politician, a regular person on the street would say, well, that sounds like spin to me.
No, you asked a question.
Because it does sound
and
like
my
spin.
response to your question was, instead of doing this, the president should be focused on X, Y, and Z. That is an answer to the question.
That's not what they want to hear. That is not what they want to hear. And it's like that all the time with these liberals. You get it like that every time, all the time. They don't ever stop with them trying to tell people how to think. You know, I went out to the Tesla event this past weekend, and I've actually put some comments. I put one of the videos on X. Actually, I put two of the videos on X, and I really can't play them on YouTube, and I'm gonna have to go out and beep some certain things out, some certain words that they were saying. I'm gonna have to beep some of them out. But while I was out there, of course, another liberal trying to tell me how I should think about something. And that's the reason why I wanted to play that. Because they're quick to tell people how to think. They're quick to tell people what they should believe. And ever since I've started just speaking out and started talking about the different things that I'm seeing that's happening in our world, I can't tell you how many times liberals in general, it doesn't matter what their complexion is either. Not at all. It's from everything from black to white and everything in between would always constantly try to tell me, you need to think like this. You need to be like that. And if I didn't, then they saw something was a problem with me if I didn't think the way they wanted me to think. It's unbelievable that they are the ones constantly talking about openness and being inclusive and being open-minded. But yet, as soon as you say something that they don't agree with, oh my goodness. You know, they've even taken it to the next level. Other than just trying to shut you down, trying to silence you, they will even be violent towards you. I mean, did y'all see the video with the young lady? I don't know where she was located. Maybe she's in New York or something. But actually, I think she was in Florida. Young black conservative female. She's on the street and she's talking to this other black female. And they got to talking about abortion. And, you know, just having a conversation. They're having a conversation for like almost 20 minutes. I think roughly around 15 minutes. Well, it got down towards the end of it. The female that she was talking to ended up punching her in the face and hit her in the face with her cell phone. Messed her up. All because she disagreed with her. Resorting to violence is not the answer. But when liberals do it, they will give it a pass. Just like that guy at the track meet. This young black male, he was sitting under the wrong tent, and they would say, hey, dude, you're in the wrong place. You need to go to a different one. And it became a little scuffle, right? And one thing led to another. And then next thing you know, the black kid came back and right in the other guy's heart, right in his heart. And the other guy that happened to be white is no longer with us. And then they created a GoFundMe, and they had on the GoFundMe every time. First I think they had 100,000 on there. And then, or did they have 50,000 on there? I think for the one who committed the crime, the violent act, right? They had 50,000 on there. And then when it got really close and to hit 50,000, they increased it to 100,000. When it hit 100,000, they increased it to 150,000. When it hit 150,000, 200,000. 250,000, you see the pattern? Every time they hit another 50,000, they increase it to another 50,000 every single time. And then, for those of you that don't know, GoFundMe took it down. I don't know if they were able to cash out that money before they took it down. I don't know. But they took it down because they were raising money for someone who committed a violent crime. And all of these, I'm telling you, all them Democrats that were supporting this. And it's always Democrats that are funding criminal activity. If you're a criminal in the United States of America, you could throw a GoFundMe out there and they will sponsor you. But you have to be the right type of criminal, right? You can't be a criminal where they label you as a criminal because you went and did a citizen's arrest of an illegal in this country, and then something happened and someone got hurt, and then they arrested you because you were involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Because different things happen, they arrest you. No GoFundMe for you. But if you're an illegal in this country and you go and hurt an American citizen, apparently you can do a GoFundMe for the illegal, and they will be able to raise money. They'll raise money for that all throughout the the country. All throughout the country, they'll raise money. Well, I'm going to share something else again about this global war. This global war that we're seeing right now, and it's a global trade war. How many of y'all think President Trump is playing 4D chess? How many of y'all think Trump is playing 4D chess with all of this? I think President Trump set China up. He played them. He got them to show their hands. He got them to play their cards. And it didn't work out well for them. And it's not working out well for them. All these other nations, they're happy that they want to come to the table. And look, the Democrats right now, they're all saying that, oh, what President Trump is doing is terrible. It's terrible. Why would 70 plus countries make phone calls, even make trips to D.C. to have a sit down with President Trump to negotiate the tariffs? Why would they want to do that if President Trump is in the wrong? President Trump is America first, and he's keeping it America first. And of course, the Democrats are against it. Now, this guy here, I've never seen him before, but he actually makes somewhat common sense here. It's kind of rare from a Democrat.
I worked in a factory, went to factory in 1989. We made radial passenger tires for cars. I worked there with my dad, 8 of my uncles, and 12 of my cousins. I was a union steward there. That plant now sits in China because you can import small radial passenger tires pretty cheap because of our failed trade policy in this Democrats' opinion. Donald Trump will use that to say that we need to fight China. We need to bring those jobs back to America. Feel a little pain for a little bit, but I'm rejiggering this whole thing to make it work for you. That's what he's betting on against the pain of what people are really going to feel. And this is what will be determined in 18 months, to your point, Abby, is the American people will decide which one of these philosophies actually is true.
That's 100% true. I mean, we all agree.
We all agree.
Exactly right. Let's just hope that
the Mexican redneck brought everybody together.
18 months from now, what takes place? 18 months from now. Midterms. And you know what? I should have gotten it. There's a video. Actually, I think I did get it. There's actually a video where President Trump, I can't remember what day it was, but there's actually a video where President Trump was actually talking about how they need to address all of the issues that's been taking place before we get to the midterms. See, President Trump, he can't run again in 4 years. Not that I would necessarily have a problem with it, but I haven't seen it. My producer said that Trump's hair is starting to turn gray. It's starting to turn gray, right, Shannon? Trump's hair is starting to turn gray. And because his hair is starting to turn gray, that that I said maybe it's time for him to just cut it all off. You know, I would like to see, I would like to see Trump with a bald head and a beard. I would like to see that, me personally. I would. You wouldn't? I would. Y'all leave me a comment.
No, Trump's hair is like a signature thing, right? People
it is.
They make fun of his hair and stuff, but it's been so Trump for so long. I like it. I like how it looks. It's turning white more than gray.
It's turning white.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference? I guess gray and white. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is a difference. What am I? Yeah. I guess typically, when people turn
some
gray,
people turn white, some people turn gray. It just depends.
That's true. I'm turning. I don't know. I'm between white and gray.
You are. You're white and gray.
I'm like between white and gray. I've actually thought about cutting all of my hair off. I thought about it. I just might one day though. What do y'all think? Y'all think I should? Maybe I'll do it live on camera. I've had a whole bunch of liberals tell me I should cut my hair.
Yeah, that's one reason to keep it, right?
Yeah, I have it because it's on my head, and I don't. Again, there it is again. Another example. how liberals wanted to tell me how to be. How dare you have dreadlocks? I mean, like, what does my hair got to do with it? What does my hair have to do with it? You know, it's pretty wild, pretty bizarre. Okay, so I have like a montage of videos that I'm just sharing with everyone here. And this one, I can't make out what the name of that is, Shannon. What is that title?
Then Judy Chu says Trump is imposing tariffs to get Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Here's the one I was talking about earlier, where she was saying that she's saying that President Trump was doing these tariffs so he can get more memberships at Mar-a-Lago. How dumb is that? How dumb is that? Now, I don't know where she's from, but if I were to guess, I would say that she's probably on the side of China. I mean, if I were to guess, she's most definitely on the side of China. What do you think?
My conclusion is that there's only one explanation for this: corruption. The Trump administration is now bragging that dozens of countries are approaching the White House ready to offer concessions and negotiate a reduction in Trump tariffs. This presents a completely unprecedented opportunity for corruption. If his tariffs are allowed by Congress and the courts to stand, then the president could unilaterally decide to remove or reduce tariffs on certain countries. With no transparency, a country could pay the president or his family money through memberships at Mar-a-Lago or payments through their various cryptocurrencies in exchange for a reduction in tariffs.
Really? So they're going to get membership. That's all it takes. They'll get membership simply by the tariffs issues. Right? The whole thing with the tariffs. They'll get membership that way. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. How do these people just blatantly lie? Where did she get that information from? Who told her? What country called her and said, yeah, President Trump offered, if I work with him on the tariffs, that he offered me membership at Mar-a-Lago? What country called her and told her that? Anyone want to question that? Who called her and told her that? You know what? It reminds me of Adam Pencilneck Schiff. Remember Adam Pencilneck Schiff said that he got a phone call from people in Russia. Remember they called it BP Gate. Remember that? He completely lied. Never even took place. And I think the phone call that he was talking about was those two comedians that called Adam Schiff and told Adam Schiff, oh yeah, we got, Donald Trump on, we got him recorded. We got him, with these working women doing X, Y, Z. And it was a joke, and it was a total lie. And yet Adam Schiff, even after he found out that it was a lie, he still ran with it. So my question is, again, who called her and told her from what country that they were trying to get memberships at Mar-a-Lago? You know how stupid that is? How stupid that sounds? I mean, just think about that for a second. You got countries that are subject to lose millions, if not billions of dollars to just gain a membership at Mar-a-Lago. I don't think that these idiot liberals even really think about what they're even saying. I don't even think they're putting two and two together. I really don't. I think they're completely oblivious to the things that they're saying. Because who in their right mind would say that? Who would say that? It doesn't make sense to me. But it's just like everything else when it comes to these tyrants, when it comes to these liberals, it's just like everything else. They find some kind of way to weasel their way in there and lie about everything that's going on to try to get people to believe a certain thing. This is what it's all about. And we see this over and over and over again with so many different things. So many. They constantly lie. I'm sick of it, to be honest with you. I'm sick of it. Now, you know, someone, again, you know, there's been multiple people where I've constantly made this analogy with, like Stephen A. Smith. The light bulb comes on and then it just dims right back out. You even have Bill Maher. Bill Maher, the light bulb comes on really bright and then it just goes right back out. Someone else the same way. Geraldo. Light bulb comes on and then it goes right back out. It's like a repeating thing with them because they like, you know, because of who they are, who they want to be perceived as, they want to come across like, well, you know, President Trump did X, Y, Z, but then they just revert back to the whole wokeism, to the whole liberalism, the whole agenda that they've been pushing against the American people. It's pretty, I mean, it's just absolutely, it's mind blowing. But listen to Geraldo here as he's talking about what President Trump did with these tariffs. Did President Trump play China? Geraldo seems to think so.
I believe that he ambushed China. I believe that he suckered the whole world into believing that he was going to go down in this, this Harry Carey, this suicide mission.
So you think this is
against the world?
The plan all along?
I think with him, it's so much spontaneous, but I believe it evolved. I mean, Monday, so many people were feeling terrible pain.
Yeah.
The markets were tanking. There was no, end in sight. People were watching their 401ks, their IRAs disappear. The whole nation was, I think, trembling over the uncertainty of where we were going with this. He was picking a fight with the entire world. So I said Monday, well, isn't the problem China? Why are we getting everybody, UK, European Union, Japan, etc. China's the problem. I couldn't understand it. But then this morning, I tell a New York story quickly.
Yep.
I'm at the Regency Hotel with the dear old friend of mine, David Sherrill, who does the stocks. Erica and I, my wife and I are together.
You're a broker?
New York. You were my broker.
Of course.
And we're talking about, oh my God, this is awful, but we're doing the right thing. You have to have courage. You have to stick it out. I went to my Twitter followers. I said, please don't sell. This is on Sunday and Monday. Please don't sell unless you absolutely have to. And then, look what he does. Oh, surprise. This is why Trump is triumphant. This is why you can't beat this guy.
Great breakfast, by the way, at the Regency.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about it? The president, you talk about going to your Twitter followers. He went to his, I don't think it was Twitter, it's probably his own platform, Truth Social, right after the market opened today. And he said, great time to buy.
What a tease. But when he said that, everything was gloom and doom.
Right, but he knew he was going to make this announcement, apparently. He said he
knew, of course he knew.
Well,
and then he says, oh, by the way, I have this ace of spades. There it is, and now Is
that a little shady to you, though, that kind of thing? Or?
I think when you're dealing with, these giant forces, China's been, they've been cleaning our clock for a long time.
Right.
Making a lot of money on the U.S. trade in a lot of different ways. Dumping product. Not taking hours at all. How many Chevys and Fords and Buicks are riding around in Beijing, I wonder. Not very many.
They used to like Buicks, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that what he did was brilliant. And a lot of people are heaving a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah.
You hearing this? This is Geraldo again. The light bulb came on, but give it some time. It'll fade back out. But what he did was brilliant. I mean, President Trump is playing 4D chess. You've heard this expression so many times. And yet President Trump keeps playing 4D chess. And we've said it so many times, these people should be, they should have cottoned on by now. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We have to remember, we're dealing with Trump. He's playing 4D chess. But they can't figure out how to play against him because he's been playing 4D chess for many years. And they can't keep up with Trump.
People were staring at the abyss. No one knew how far this was going to go, whether we really were off the cliff forever. And, I just feel sorry for all the people who chickened out and sold out and took major losses, because that's the thing about the market. When somebody wins, somebody else has lost.
What do you think his goal is here in all of this? Or maybe it's both, but I'm having a hard time seeing how you could do both. In other words, does he want to bring back all these manufacturing jobs? That's what he talks about all the time. If so, you'd want to keep the tariffs on, theoretically, even if, that's what, and then force people to move their businesses here. Or is he just trying to cut some sort of, he's cutting better deals?
I don't know, Connell, because that's way above my pay grade. But what I do know is that the United States now provides services to the world. We do what we do best.
Yeah.
There are countries that manufacture stuff and they do it as well as we do for a lot less money. You can't have barriers. The United States exists, and I hate to sound like a globalist, but it is an international reality.
He hates to sound like a globalist. No, he doesn't. He doesn't hate to sound like a globalist. He's perfectly fine with sounding like one. He's perfectly fine being one. But I find it interesting that he actually admitted that President Trump is brilliant in what he's doing. That says a lot coming from Geraldo. Again, the light bulb is currently on, but I can imagine at some point it will fade back out. It's going to fade back out because that's who Geraldo is. As soon as, I guess someone would get to him and start calling him and say, hey, you're saying too many positive things about President Trump. You need to cut it out. And then he just reverses everything that he said about President Trump. Just everything he said. I do have a lot. Actually, I have a few more that I want to share with you. I do have a few more things. Say it again. I have a few more things I want to share with you. And this one, again, is about the tariffs. Y'all know who Jessica is on the 5? Jessica, and here's a disclaimer here. She's highly intelligent. And she's a nut job at the same time. I'll admit it. And most people are like, Will Johnson, how dare you? You can't say that Jessica is smart. She is smart. I don't, people may not agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I get it. But she is an intelligent woman. She's just not dealing with, it's like, how do you explain that, right? Someone that's intelligent, but not dealing with a full deck. But I think the reason why I'm saying that is because she knows how to articulate stuff to try to make it look like a certain way. The same thing they do on MSDNC and CNN. Same thing they do. And the people that watch them and believe the nonsense that they're putting out there, they be like, oh, yeah, that makes complete sense. When it actually doesn't, but the way they manipulate people, they get people to believe it. Well, she's talking about what President Trump and the Secretary of Treasury was saying, that President Trump was doing this all along. This was the plan all along. And she's trying to allude that President Trump was lying to the American people. His administration was lying. What's the Treasury Secretary's name? Bassett. Bissett. Yeah, Bissett. Thank you so much. Bissett. She's saying, oh, he came on this network and he's lying. Actually, they kept saying that President Trump is making deals and things will constantly change. This was part of it. See, they want President Trump to stick with something that will collapse the country. That's what they were looking forward to. They didn't see this coming. They were not paying attention. And then when President Trump put out the post on Truth Social saying, buy now, he was telling people to buy now. He said, look, you might want to buy now. Oh my goodness, insider trading. Well, listen to her. And then, of course, Jesse Waters, he comes in and sets her straight.
So Basson says this was the plan all along. So you were okay then with being made out to be a complete liar because you've been doing interviews on our network, going on the Sunday show, saying absolutely not, that we're not capitulating on this. We're not going back on it. Caroline Levitt calling fake news as recently as yesterday. Lutnick, he was on with you multiple times, it felt like, or it was the world's longest interview, talking about how this isn't a joke and, we'll be a manufacturing economy, which we don't even want to be. And I'm looking at, how we got to this point, and obviously the market had to do it, the bond market in particular, once Japan started selling them off. And did you know earlier this afternoon that Greek bonds were a safer investment than U.S. 30 years? Can you believe that? The Greeks?
Now, here it comes. Look at the hand. Look at the hand. I wish I'd give him a high five. Here it comes, right there. I wish I'd get right there. Let me get a high five. Because he sets her straight. And again, like I said, she's an intelligent woman. She tried to come across and try to make everything like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. They weren't telling the truth. They were lying. They constantly said that things will change as they go, depending on what's happening, depending on negotiations. That's how negotiations work. Again, let me repeat this. The Democrats wanted President Trump to keep something in place that would just completely collapse and cripple our economy. President Trump's not going to do that. But that's what they wanted. And President Trump didn't give that to them. So now they're upset. Now they're upset. Watch this. Watch this with Jesse Waters.
But you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
You don't even know what a bond is. Now, Judge Jeanine, Jessica keeps on saying that Trump caved. How is this a cave if he got 75 nations to get to the negotiating table and redo their tariffs against the United States?
See, that's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly it. Ooh, excuse me. That is exactly it. President Trump constantly changing. Ooh. It's the allergies. I'm about 95% again. For those of you that care. So my producer said it's not allergies because now she's sick, but it could be allergies because you get allergy issues too. But then again, I guess it could be something else. I guess it could be. Yeah. But it could be. I didn't have a fever. I didn't feel good, but I never ran a fever. Well, I guess you don't have to have a fever. Okay. Let me move on. Enough about me. Let me go to another one. Here's another one. We're going back to Shucky Ducky Schumer. And these videos with the Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, they never stop, right? It's like they never get old because they don't have a leader right now. And even Chuck Schumer's not. I don't even consider Chuck Schumer to be the leader of the Democrat Party right now. And I know there was who was it? I forget who it was. They were saying that was it Kennedy again? I think it was Kennedy saying that AOC and Jasmine Crockett, it was Kennedy. They are like the leaders of the Democrat Party right now. And the best thing that we can do is to allow them to continue to talk. That's the best thing we can do. Just allow them to continue to talk. Same thing with Chuck Schumer. And let me remind you that there's a lot of Democrats right now that are upset with Chuck Schumer. But it's like, they have short memories. They'll let it go. But they're upset with Chuck Schumer because of the CR. But now that's water under the bridge. They're moving on to the next thing. Listen to Chuck Schumer here.
So look, you can't undo the damage. The Trump slump is upon us now.
The Trump slump. Again, like I just told y'all a second ago with Jessica, they are upset because President Trump is not collapsing the economy. That's what they're upset about.
And whatever he will try to do in the future does not undo the damage.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? He doesn't, they don't want it to undo anything. They want the economy to collapse so they can turn around and say, oh, look, everyone, this is the reason why you need to vote for Democrats. because President Trump is actually fixing it. They don't like the fact that President Trump is fixing it, but we want everything to collapse so they can try to swoop in to be the ones to save the day. You know, that's one thing I haven't said in a while. The Democrats, when Joe Biden was there, I used to say this all the time, that the Democrats, if they don't take advantage of a crisis, you've heard them say, let no crisis go to waste. Their objective is to take advantage of a crisis to try to make themselves look good. Like they try to swoop in to save the day. And if it's not a crisis that they didn't, if there's not a crisis there that they can do that with, they will create a crisis. And then they'll turn around and blame everybody else, and they'll still try to swoop in to try to act like they are there to save the day. And what made me really think about that is when I saw the video of Ronald Reagan, when he says that when there's someone from the government comes to you and says that we're from the government and we're here to help. Just the opposite. They probably the ones created the problem. But we're here to help. But it's not going to tell you that we created the problem. 100% we're not going to tell you that we create the problem. Being rhinocrats or democrats. They're the main ones. Now, again, President Trump playing 40 chess with these people. And I know I've been saying that a lot. And I'm trying not to cough here. But with that said, you have Business Insider. They were interviewing this young lady. This was in 2018, where they were trying to make President Trump look bad. And this young lady comes on there and she said that she used to, sit in the room with President Trump when he was making deals. Yeah, that's where I've seen her before. She's on Shark Tank, but she's on there saying that she's been in the room with President Trump when he's making these deals. And she gives an example of President Trump making these deals. And I've never seen this video. And I'm going to limb here. Many of you haven't seen this either. Maybe some of you have. But she just says the way President Trump negotiate deals, that a lot of people don't understand it. And you would think that you would go in and talk a certain way or try to push a certain thing. She said, not Trump. Trump finds the weakness because President Trump knows how to read these people. Listen, this is really good.
You knew Donald Trump way back in his New York real estate days.
What a charmer.
And, despite, whatever you say about him, even you say he's a great salesman. What is his sales technique? Why is he so great?
He is a phenomenal salesman. He's not a great salesman. He's probably the best salesman I've ever been in the company of. And I spent a lot of time with Donald because he's 5 years older than me, I think 4 years, and he was raising his company right at parallel with me raising mine. And so I did a lot of work with Donald. And I can tell you, he is the best salesman I've ever met in my life. I watched him walk into a situation, for example, selling the Plaza Hotel to the Chinese out of Hong Kong. It was in Taiwan. Group of Asians, wealthiest families in Hong Kong. And they were there because they were interested in the Plaza Hotel. And I was the broker, or my brokers, we were all at the table. And we were like really hungry to make this deal. And I watched him totally not pitch the Plaza Hotel, bury it. And talk about the land masses on the Hudson River and the buildings that would be there. They were not the least bit interested. They just wanted to buy the Plaza Hotel. Like a customer, I want to buy it. And Donald was near bankruptcy, really needed the money to bail out. And I watched him. I thought he was so off.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing when I used to watch President Trump on The Apprentice. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he was mean. I didn't think he cared about people. That was my impression. But, to be full transparency here, I never watched The Apprentice. I only saw little clips where he said, "You're fired." And that was my impression. Shame on me for not at least sitting down and watching it instead of just getting the little small snippets of here and there and growing just an opinion instead of going and getting the full facts. That's the same thing that Democrats do even after they get the facts. Even after they get the facts, they do the same thing, right? But President Trump, he knows how to read people. Listen.
He wasn't. They bought the land and built all those towers on the West River as we know it today. You know, all those Trump towers along the river. That was the deal. How did he do that? I'll tell you what his masterful mind does. He is a genius at picking out the vulnerability of someone's personality. He can smell it, sense it, and trust it. Okay. So, for example, if you were to walk into a business meeting with Donald and you're saying whatever you're saying, I've seen it time and time again, he could see what your weakness is and not physically reach over and put his finger on it, but he just could see what your weakness is and play into it. Not the nicest thing in the world, but it's a certain gift I've never seen anyone else.
Wow. Wow. I'd never seen that video before. Never seen it before. I wonder how she feels now. Does she say the same thing? Because I haven't, that's the first time I've seen her say anything about President Trump. Now, I've seen her, I don't watch Shark Tank, and I don't have a one-way or opinion about anybody that's sitting on Shark Tank except for Mark Cuban. That nut job. Well, yeah, and O'Leary. He's not a nut job. Isn't it interesting? Because you would think Mark Cuban, being a businessman, he would understand what President Trump was doing. Why would he want to vote or support someone like that wicked witch that would have crushed businesses in the United States of America? I don't get it. I really don't. And see, O'Leary, because of what China has done to him and other businesses in the United States of America, he's calling for 400% tariffs against China. 400% tariffs against China. And you know what? It doesn't stop there. What President Trump has done is actually better than expected. And when you have the Communist News Network even saying that what President Trump is doing is better than expected, when you're talking about inflation, it says a lot. Does it not? Does it not? It says a lot. Let me share this with you. This was on the Communist News Network talking about President Trump. And President Trump has been there. I mean, my goodness, Shannon, it's almost about to be 3 months. We're 10 days out from being 3 months. And I want the days to slow down so President Trump can do more. Is that amazing? Listen to this.
Consumer prices month over month. So this was actually a drop of 0.1%, negative 0.1%. That's the first time we've seen that since COVID. Year over year, the annual inflation rate was at 2.4%. This was also better than expected and a 6-month low, moving in the right direction. As far as why this happened, there's a few drivers. One thing that really played a role here, as you can see the trend here, the inflation rate dipping a little bit. One of the drivers was energy. The fact that gasoline prices did not move up like they usually do in the month of March, that really helped the inflation.
Oh, really? And I'm surprised CNN is even talking about it. I really am. I'm really surprised that they're talking about it. Hey, let me talk about this really quick before we run out of time here. I want to say thank you to everyone who's already supported me so far on my givesendgo.com/website. For those of you that don't know, Facebook, they hit me hard. They took my monetization away because of what hackers have done to my Facebook page. They know it was hackers. And I think it was an inside job, because I have screenshots of the hackers. And when I talk to Facebook support, they have the same accent. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think. But nonetheless, because they've killed my income, tremendously, it's so bad. I don't think I've ever, experienced anything that I'm experiencing right now, because I haven't done anything wrong. I've done what I'm supposed to do, but they've hit me hard. So I'm asking everyone, if you would, please, anything, any amount, $1 helps. Everything is a blessing. So if God puts it on your heart, please go to my givesendgo.com/website. to help me to keep my website up. Time is running out for me. Please help me keep it up. You can see wonderful people who's already donated to it. Maybe I should would y'all like for me to put the link? I don't put the link in, on Facebook because they'll block anytime I put a link. It doesn't matter what it is, unless it's strictly my website. If I put any link other than my website, they will not allow you to see it. I can't put any external links on my website. And sometimes they'll hit me with a violation for putting an external link. If it's Rumble, if it's X, it doesn't matter what it is. I can't put anything unless it's my website. So I'm asking everyone, please make note of it. GiveSendGo.com/website. And the reason why I did it on the GiveSendGo, because I wanted to be full transparent. And you can tell I'm not asking like above and beyond. I'm asking for the bare minimum for me to keep my website up. And that's it right there. So if God puts it on your heart, I'm asking you from one Christian to another, please consider supporting me. Help me keep my website up. Because a lot of people go to my website and they go there for news. And even there, when people go there, I have my website monetized, but Google, they don't like Will Johnson either. So they've really hit me hard there as well. I can only make pennies. But so the only way I can keep it up is if you help me keep my website going. Every now and then people go to my website and buy t-shirts, and I'm greatly appreciated to that as well. And I'm telling you, every time y'all do anything on my website, you purchase anything on my website, I put it right back into the website. But it does cost expenses, right? To keep everything going. So please consider helping me. Consider helping me. You've known me throughout the years. Maybe this one time you can say, here, I'll help Will out with $5. I would greatly appreciate it. I consider that a blessing. So GiveSendGo.com/website. God puts it on your heart. Do you have my website is currently still up, Shannon? Yep, there it is. There's my website right there. This is the one I'm talking about. I want to keep it up. If you haven't, go there and sign up for the free newsletter. And you can see the shows that I do throughout the day. And right below that is the Give, Send, Go link too. So if you've already been to my website, and I think, a lot of liberals, they go to my website to see if it's down yet. Oh, we got to take them down because they love taking people down that they disagree with. They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in free market. They don't believe in capitalism. They don't believe you believe in the way you want to believe. They don't believe in any of that. So please help me. So many wonderful people have already helped me throughout the years. I'm asking you again, if you would help me. I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. Okay, I got less than 2 minutes. Before I got to go. Actually, less than 1 minute. Looks like less than 1 minute. My show today that I'm going to do on Culture Wars is going to be about a coup d'etat. Where do you think the coup d'etat is going to take place? And I have an update about what I was talking about yesterday that I can't talk about on Facebook and YouTube, about something else that China is doing. And I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube or Facebook. I'm not going to do it because the information I want to share with you is somewhat sensitive, not classified or anything like that. It's sensitive to liberal ears. Let me put it that way. So if you go to Culture Wars, an hour from now, click on Culture Wars. You can go to my website, set a mobile alert. If I keep my voice, set a mobile alert on your phone for 1 hour from now to go to Will's site, UnitedAmericaFirst.com, and click on Culture Wars. All right, everybody, that is it for me. God bless. I will see you in 1 hour on the Culture Wars.